Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from. The county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one thing I've consistently repeated on this particular platform. That anytime you want to get the thinking of the president, what William Ruto is planning to do, you don't need to pay close attention to what the president is saying. You just need to pay very close attention to Oscar Sudi, especially what he is saying. Just like for Raila Odinga, you just need to listen to what Junet Mohammed is saying, because Junet Mohammed is the mouthpiece of Raila Odinga. Of course, other politicians also have such kind of individuals. So over the weekend, Oscar Sudi stated something which caught my attention. And I've been thinking deeply about it. And it should actually worry Kenyans. Because according to Oscar Sudi, listen to Oscar Sudi, listen in very closely to this statement by Oscar Sudi, especially towards the tail end of the statement. Listen to Oscar Sudi.
Kwa sababu ile maneno yako mtandao siku hizi ukiona, halafu mtu mmoja watu wanasimama watu wachache hapo, rais anafanya hii, maneno ya abduction, maneno ya nini. Unajua rais pia umenikosea kidogo. Ile siku nyingine ulitangaza waziri, nilikuwa nafikiri unasema Kipchumba Sudi. Kumbe akakuwa Kipchumba Murkomen. Tena juzi nimesikia tena nilikuwa nategea ukasema tena Kipchumba Murkomen. Sasa wangenipatia hiyo docket hiyo ya usalama siku 3 peke yake. Hiyo watoto na ujinga hiyo ya kuchora vitu kwa maneno itaisha. Kwa sababu lazima tu hakuna inji inaongozwa na upuzi. Lazima inji yote inaongozwa na katiba na heshima. Si ni kweli? Yeah. Na mtu asikutisha rais. Unajua mimi naona yule mtu tulivuguza baada anaongea hapo. Mwingine anasema sijui nini hapo. Mai kuona inji yenye mtu anaenda tamu moja. Hakuna hiyo. Wataruka juu chini. Lakini mambo itakuwa sawa. Ya mwisho kabisa.
If you paid close attention to Oscar Sudi, it's very clear that nobody will defeat William Ruto, because according to him, nobody has ever defeated a sitting president. And for me, that is significant, because on this particular platform, we've always stated that William Ruto is the easiest president to remove from office via the ballot. The only challenge has always been who can remove William Ruto from office. But so far, with the emergence of Fred Matiang'i, William Ruto can be easily defeated. And of course, even the Gen Zs, if you listen to them, they're also very clear with one fact, that William Ruto has always made history. He's never been defeated. He became the first Kenyan to ever contest for the presidency for the first time and ended up winning. And therefore, they also want to make another history by becoming the first president to lose. But Oscar Sudi is reminding Kenyans that that is not going to happen. So in this video, I want us to figure out what Oscar Sudi was trying to communicate and why Kenyans should actually be worried. But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. But again, before I dive in, allow me guys to introduce you guys once again to another product by Bricks Technology, the smart door locks. This is a very interesting product. The lock has a camera that sends images of visitors to your phone and has a screen from the inside to show who is at the door. And you can operate the lock using fingerprint, passcodes, mobile app, and lock management. It can also support virtual passcode. Simply means that assuming you are sending your fundis to the house or a cleaner and you are in office, they don't have the key to the door, you simply create for them the password and send to them. Then they can use that password to unlock the door. It is very good for your homes, especially both the main entrance and other rooms, and of course those who operate Airbnbs, this is the best. This is what you need. You need to know who is getting in. And of course, you can always control, change passwords to visitors as they come in. Ladies and gentlemen, you can contact Bricks Technology for this product using that particular number. So ladies and gentlemen, why do you think Oscar Sudi spoke with the kind of confidence he spoke with? Because for me, Oscar Sudi unknowingly revealed their plans. And the biggest question has always been, do you think William Ruto can hand over power in case he's defeated? Uhuru Kenyatta handed over power. Moi handed over power easily. But of course, for Uhuru Kenyatta, second term. For Daniel Moi, after serving for 24 years. Moi Kibaki also handed over power, but after serving 2 terms. Can William Ruto hand over the presidency if, say, he's defeated in 2027? That is the biggest question. So for me, the statement by Oscar Sudi, for me, I'm interpreting it in this following ways. Number one, what Oscar Sudi is trying to tell Kenyans is that their votes will not matter. Probably they are rigging schemes. And that's why it's very clear that nobody has ever lost re-election as a president. Nobody. And if you've been studying the political developments in the Republic of Kenya very closely, certain things are very clear. Number one, we don't have IEBC. And I think it's deliberate. And I think it's deliberate that we don't have IEBC. Because at the right time, IEBC will be used to rig the elections. How? There is what is called voter registration. That's where elections are always won, voter registration. So it will mean IEBC will come up towards the tail end. The registration will kick off. But the pro-opposition areas will not be facilitated much. There is also the procurement of election materials. In the last election, and that's why sometimes I tend to believe Babu Owino. In the last election, IEBC printed a form 34A of book 2. Nobody told them to print book 2. But they had to print book 2 because that is the book which facilitated the rigging. Because in 2017, the courts made a ruling that the results at the polling stations are final and that they must be in the right form. So IEBC printed the right form, but 2 of them. So that if, for example, this is the first form they printed, I normally vote in sports ground here. Let's say Ruto has 20 votes, Raila has 200 votes here. Then you want to tamper with that. You know, if it's one form, there's no way you can tamper with it. But if there are 2, you simply facilitate the removal of this other one. Then bring the other one. So instead of giving Ruto 20, you give him 50. And Raila, instead of giving 200, you give him 150. Simple. So that if you add 50, 20, 50, 20 across the country, that's huge. So the fact that we don't have IEBC, it means the procurement of those materials are not yet ready. So the government will rush them. And Kenyans will not have time to even question. They will not even have time to go to court. So for me, rigging scheme is something which those who are planning to run for against William Ruto must be prepared for. So that's number one. Number two, there's also something which so many of you guys have told me. The Somali factor in 2027 presidential elections in the Republic of Kenya. In 2007, there was a polling station which became famous, Tharaka Nithi. Tharaka Nithi, I think, had registered voters of that time 30,000. But Kiviti declared, was it 60,000 or 70,000? And that's what stood. There is something which is going on in northern Kenya today. Maybe it's good for the country. It might not be very good for the country. Previously, because of the border, porousness of the border, the registration of IDs was not a bit easy. There was serious vetting. Currently, someone has told me that it's easy to get ID in northern Kenya. And if you want to understand this, if, for example, it has been very difficult to get IDs, and now it's easy to get IDs, it means previously there were people who were qualified to register as voters, but because of the strict registrations, they could not vote. So they'll be consolidated. It would also mean that people can actually be ferried from outside and be issued with those IDs, and then they'll be facilitated to vote. And that's why, as much as Kenyans are focusing on two areas, that the 2027 presidential elections will be determined in Mount Kenya, how they will vote, or how the Western Alliance will vote. I doubt. The people who will determine that election are the people of the Northern Kenya and their diaspora. Because so far, even the way the country is managed, key security organs, they hold. So which means coded message has been sent to them that you need to behave. And that's how politics operate. You must be smart. And that's why the statement by Oscar Sudi, you should not take it lightly. Number three, Oscar Sudi's statement could also mean the use of state machinery. Uhuru Kenyatta had state machinery in the last election. He did not use it. He had the intelligence, he had the developments, he had the provincial administrations, the chief, assistant chief, DOs, regional commissioners, blah, blah. He had the police. But because his camp was infiltrated and the power of the US government and the UK, Raila Odinga was stopped. For William Ruto, he has the state machinery. 2027 for Ruto is going to be a do or die. He would not want to make history as the first one-term president of the Republic of Kenya. So he's going to unleash state machinery. So far, William Ruto has not performed in terms of development. Moving forward, we're going to see William Ruto launching serious development projects in specific areas to win their support. Number four, if you doubt, you should not doubt this. And I want you to take it to the bank. The 2027 presidential elections in the Republic of Kenya is going to be the most expensive presidential election in the Republic of Kenya. I was talking to someone today. He was in some traffic, Langata Road. He was telling me, Lee, I've just seen some two choppers. New ones, the one, the way they normally transport them, being transported to, I can't mention. So which means people are preparing for 2027 presidential election. If William Ruto, without state machinery, could launch the kind of campaign he did in 2027, in 22, please, 2027 is not going to be a joke. That's why I always tell Kenyans that if Kalonzo Musyoka is not serious, he should not forget. He should just forget about running. Because 2027 presidential election will require money. And not just money, real money. Because Ruto and his team are going to throw that money. And they believe that they can use money to buy people. Already MPs are in their pockets, the governors, all these guys are in their pockets. So it's only the Kenyans, the Gen Zs who are still saying no. So they believe they can buy off. And lastly, and this is another strategy which I've seen William Ruto try to apply. the perceptional politics, what I can call the tyranny of numbers politics. You see, politics is a perceptional game, and it's a game of numbers, real or perceived. You might not have the numbers, but you can create successfully the perception that you have the numbers. Let me use William Ruto and 2027, how he can create that perception of numbers. Ruto has Raila Odinga on his side, which means in 2027, he can convince Kenyans that Raila Odinga is bringing the Luos, is bringing the coastal region, part of Western Kenya, perceptionally. So that even if that will not happen, and some games are being played, someone can justify it. But you see, this guy had Raila on his side. There's no way you could defeat Raila and Ruto. Those are fact. Mudavadi, Western. So that politics of tyranny of numbers, if you ask me, is something which William Ruto is going to use just to create the perception that he has the numbers. And that's why after creating those perception, figures will be announced, then you will be told, go to court. And once it is in court, 7 Supreme Court judges, there are 7. The 7 Supreme Court judges will make the decision, none of the Kenyans. Ladies and gentlemen, please take that statement by Oscar Sudi seriously. And remember to reach out to me with any other thing you'd want me to share on this platform via my WhatsApp numbers, which are the ones you are seeing there on the screen. And of course, so many people have always supported this channel in their small ways. Use those numbers to do the same. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.